Hello, it is another Tuesday, which of course means it's time for another in real life video. This week, we are not doing a ranking and we are not taking a general viewer submitted question or request for a ranking, but don't let that stop you. Feel free to submit your own in the comments below. Include a question mark if you can, because it'll help me sort through all of them. And add them to our ever-growing list and ever-shrinking list, of course. But this week, it's something a little bit more topical before we get too deep into Fallout Season 2. I think we're at like roughly the halfway point, right? Since unlike the first season, is not coming all out at once, is coming out on a weekly basis, which in some ways is good and in other ways is bad, right? It is what it is. Anyway, I've been enjoying the Fallout show from Season 1. I really enjoyed it. It was a great, big, pleasant surprise. Season 2 has been very fun. It's a fun show, you know? It's not like, we're not trying to be a prestige drama here, right? It's a fun show. It's fun, you know? It's fun. We're not seeking to be like, oh, this is an incredibly moving story. It's not going to be something that I would imagine for most people sticks with you for a long time. It's just a fun time. You know, it's a popcorn show like you got a popcorn movie, right? I sort of categorize it in that sense. It's just a fun time. Just watch some kooky characters go around, do some fun stuff. Oh, look, here's a reference to the games or whatever. Maybe there's too many references to the games right now. Otherwise, it's just a good time. Here's some fun character actors that I like. Fun nods to the games. Cool to see the production, you know, the sets are very fun, the costumes, the props, all of that very much in line with what you see in the games. Cool to see them in this new light. And also, the added bonus, apparently it's all canon, you know, apparently it's all canon. My question, though, is, and it may be less so a question, right? We're sort of loading this for the sake of YouTube titling, but could it be that Amazon's Fallout TV show, is it too successful? Right? And immediately I'll answer that by saying no. It's a ridiculous notion to be like, oh, it's too successful. But more so the meaning is sort of tongue-in-cheek. It's a little bit sardonic, you know? Obviously, I don't think any of what I'm about to say is at the feet or at the fault of anybody who works on the TV show, as far as we know, right? None of the actors, none of the, you know, like we had mentioned, people working on costume sets, people who are doing the showrunner, people doing the writing or whatever. I think they all understand the assignment, and everybody, there's a decent amount of appreciation for the source material thrown in there. In particular, the showrunner, right? What's their name? Graham Wagner? I forget. They definitely seem to have a very keen appreciation for the source material, and it shows through. I think it's a good time. It's a good, fun time. But on the flip side of that, you have the corporate end of things, right? And in the same way, I would never cast too much shame or doubt or hatred or vitriol, which isn't to say that I typically do that at all, but I wouldn't cast any aspersions toward people who develop the game, right? I'm unfortunately one of these people who I've enjoyed every Fallout game that I've played on its own merits. I've enjoyed it for what it is, and I like them quite a bit. I like all of them. I'm sorry. Right? But I do also, at the same time, I worry about corporate. I worry about not the studios so much. I think they'll try their best, and I will probably enjoy what they put out next. But I do have concerns about the parent companies involved, right? I don't worry so much about, like, Kilter Films. I don't worry so much about Bethesda Game Studios, nor even potentially Obsidian Entertainment if they happen to be tooling away on a remaster or remake or who knows what else. Or even In Exile, if we want to trace lineage back even further to some of the people who used to be at Black Isle and went on to be there. I have no qualm with them. More so, it's Microsoft and Amazon, right? Predictably, perhaps, they might be the source of some problems, I would say. My big issue is that with the show doing so good, at least, you know, like I said, I don't expect it to rack up awards. It did win an Emmy Technical Award last season, right? I think it was for music production, some sort of musical Emmy Award, a technical award. So nothing like to throw your hands up and say, whoa, my gosh, but enough to say it's an Emmy Award-winning show. I don't know how I feel about how they're going to cash in on this, right? I feel like distinctively we have already seen Microsoft on the video game end of things really go in with collaborations, which on the one hand, I'm kind of okay with. I like a corny collaboration here and there. You know, we've seen they're collabing with Fallout again for the new Call of Duty. There's Fallout stuff in there right now. There's rumors that they're going to collab with the Fallout TV show specifically, again with Fortnite. They already did a video game related collab, which was honestly very unimpressive for Fortnite in the past. It felt like kind of a second thought, but this new one, apparently, it sounds like it's meant to be a lot more substantial. It remains to be seen. We'll see. I would anticipate more collabing on that part, but also more merchandising. That's really what rubs me the wrong way, is the merchandising, which isn't just exclusive to Microsoft, but also extends out to Amazon as well, which obviously it would, right? That's kind of the main thing that they're known for, is selling stuff, either making their own stuff through like Amazon Basics. I think they do medicine now, you know, and also operating logistics is a huge one. That is more so the stuff that concerns me. Of, I guess effectively you would call it diluting the brand, but more so like as a common refrain, as something that me as just a person watching this stuff and playing these games and enjoying them, is, am I going to get sick of this? Am I going to start to like turn my nose up at it? Because I kind of feel it already happening a little bit, is just how much they're cashing in on everything. Right. I think there has undoubtedly been, since the Microsoft acquisition, there has undoubtedly been, I think, a lot of Fallout merch, either through very official means, like on the Bethesda merch website, but there's just been a lot of it. There's been a lot of it. Case in point, right here, this is a Mr. Handy pin I got for Christmas. I feel like there's a lot of merch collab going around. You had the second wave of Jones Soda and stuff, which only had limited availability. I would have enjoyed getting some of the sarsaparilla. Like I'm not going to get on a high horse and condescend to anybody, because I'm as susceptible to this stuff as anybody else, I think. I would have enjoyed to get like a Jones Soda Sunset Sarsaparilla flavor. I would have been down for that and talk about it on a video or whatever, and be like, oh yeah, I tried this and this is my thoughts on it, because it's something Fallout related. You know, I feel like on some level I have a degree of desire to talk about it in a IRL video, or just off the cuff in the middle of a playthrough, you know, stuff like that. I think the most freaky to me, the most disturbing thing to me about it is the merchandising that Amazon has done, because they have opened up. If you look, when you're going to watch an episode, especially if you're on like computer, if you're on like their web browser client, they'll have like just a direct link to Fallout merch, right? They'll just have a direct link to it. And they have like a page on Amazon that's just devoted to selling merch tie-ins that are specifically made for people who have watched the show and enjoy the show. Which, you know, that's not anything new, but there is something very weird that, like, it rubs me in a very weird way. It's got to be said. And maybe it's because of the content and topics covered in the show itself. Like I said, I don't hold any of this at the feet of the people writing or show running or acting or whatever in the show. Same as I do for the games, right? But there is definitely this weird shit where it feels like the success of it is going to get milked and exploited, and they want lightning to strike again. We know for a fact that now Amazon, as far as, making television effectively, streaming shows, they are dialing up their efforts. We've already seen some of it. They did, what's it called? First level, or whatever it was, where it was sort of an anthology of them doing CGI clips of a whole bunch of different games, sort of tied together vaguely tied together, I guess. But each one was like its own separate story, almost akin to, I say anthology, but I guess the most contemporary closest point of reference would be something like Black Mirror, where these episodes aren't necessarily connected. They're all like individual stories, and they're meant to sort of like showcase a game or a few games that might be related in some way. You got that. They also opened up their doors to a whole bunch of different video game related shows. I remember way back when Fallout was announced, I believe, they said that there was going to be a Disco Elysium adaptation, but I think stuff has just gotten too hot. The heat level has gotten too wild. We're at like 4 stars right now when it comes to Disco Elysium as an intellectual property. That maybe that's not going forward. I don't know. I haven't heard anything else about it, but there was meant to be that like television adaptation, which in and of itself, as much as I love Disco Elysium, I don't know how you would adapt a game like that. I think you're making a concession at any turn. I don't know how you would adapt it and make it a hit. Yeah, you've got me on that. Regardless, they've talked about plenty of others. I got a quick list here that I threw together. We know for a fact that they're making plans to make a Wolfenstein show or maybe movie. I believe it's a show, right? They're going to do Wolfenstein, have BJ Blazkowicz blasting away Nazis, which, that's always a fun time. And I honestly, when I looked into it, they've got Patrick Somerville as a writer, maybe showrunner, previously known for doing writing. If you're familiar at all with the miniseries Station 11, he did writing for that, as well as, I'm not familiar with that, but I am familiar with the fact that he did some work on The Leftovers, sort of your interesting, I don't know. Is there some measure of connectivity with, yeah, because Robert House is now played by Justin Theroux, who starred in The Leftovers. Very, very amazing show. Speaking of prestige dramas that rack up awards, ought to be The Leftovers. You should watch The Leftovers. Mark my words on that. But regardless, he did do writing for 4 episodes of The Leftovers. So I think there's maybe a decent chance. That said, Wolfenstein seems like it would be way more leaning into action, sort of like a popcorn show in a similar vein as Fallout. It's not going to be like his area of expertise. Patrick Somerville sounds like prestige drama. Are they going to make it have that bend? Maybe you could, because there are some story beats that hit in the newer games in particular where you could make it pop off in such a way. We start going down the list and it gets more and more rickety. They also have plans. I think the next big one, as far as I know, is Mass Effect. They're going to try to, I believe it's going to be an adaptation of the Mass Effect games, the Commander Shepard trilogy. They're going to try to adapt all of that, which I think is quite the task. If they can pull it off, I think it'll be a banger. And frankly, if they make it hit just right, I think it could actually rack up prestige drama acclaim. I think Mass Effect has the world building and the drama necessary to kind of make that pop off. Because, we've seen it with other games recently, like The Last of Us Season 1 was popping off in a major way. Season 2 maybe less so, but season 1 really had some wild things going for it. This one, showrunner, we already know is definitely going to be Doug Jung. If you're unfamiliar with this individual, they wrote Star Trek Beyond, which is the Christopher Pine Star Trek. I think the last one. It's the one that has the alien lady whose face is striped like a zebra, like black and white vertical. You know what I'm talking about? Which honestly I quite enjoyed. Folks who are really into prestige drama will also be maybe impressed with the fact that this motherfucker did writing for 2 episodes of Mindhunter, which is absolutely astounding as well. So I think it could maybe be a big deal. The only question is, how are they going to execute on it, especially if they're specifically adapting Commander Shepard's story? I'm very curious about that. The execution will be a big question of it, right? But definitely Amazon is seeing this sort of untapped well of potential here when it comes to video game adaptations, which a lot of people are, but it really feels like since they got this huge hit on their hands when it comes to the Fallout TV show, I feel like like more so than HBO. I thought maybe it would be HBO who went down this path, but they don't seem to be, following the successes of The Last of Us season 1. I thought that would be the case, but also this is another interesting point of comparison. The merchandising difference between The Last of Us, even season 1, even season 2, versus the merchandising present for Fallout season 1 and 2. We're definitely hitting on very different levels of cashing in on things, right? Whether or not you enjoyed season 1 or season 2 of The Last of Us, the television adaptation on HBO, there's no doubt that on the corporate end of things, on the end of merchandising, there is a stark difference, right? There is a very stark difference. Anyway, I do think that Mass Effect could pop off. It's possible. Up next, I've wrote down here, God of War. Now, this is a peculiar one because apparently it was, I think I had seen that it was originally announced in 2022, that they were working on this. And this one had a lot of behind the scenes issues, and I believe effectively at one point had to do a full reset on writing. I'm far less familiar with, out of all of these, it's probably God of War that I'm the least familiar with. I haven't played any of the new games. I barely played any of the old ones. It just hasn't been my bag, which by that description, it sounds like I should probably play the new ones, right? Is I think what a lot of people will tell me is that, oh, it's not really your bag. Perfect. Play the 2 new ones, right? I think that is the refrain I would most likely be bound to hear. But regardless, they have a showrunner, I believe, a new showrunner, because like I said, there was some tumultuous stuff behind the scenes. They changed things out. But now it's Rafe Judkins, I think is the name, who is meant to be slated to be the showrunner for this. And this person they were a showrunner for and a writer for The Wheel of Time, speaking of adaptations, which I have heard very mixed things about. I haven't seen it. And also you run into the whole, isn't this like butting heads with some of the Neil Gaiman stuff? Which, God, I don't even remember exactly what it was. I haven't read any of his work, so I don't know exactly what the controversy was. I think it was like sexual misconduct in some form or function. Him being like some type of predator, right? Or maybe not. Allegedly. All of this is alleged and perhaps scuttlebutt, so please don't get me for libel or whatever, right? I don't know. But also, perhaps to temper expectations, this individual, Rafe, the showrunner, as they're meant to be, they were also the screenplay. They did writing for and they wrote the screenplay for the Uncharted movie, which was that a financial success? Because at the end of the day, maybe that's all Amazon cares about, right? Maybe that's all they care about, hence the heavy merchandising. But that is definitely something that's on their slate. This individual also did writing for 5 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and was a producer for 43 out of 136 of the episodes of that show, which producer can be very different from being like a writer or doing the screenplay of. So versus also being a showrunner, I think these are very separate. I feel like writer and screenplay writer, that's a lot more close to being someone who is a showrunner than a producer, especially when it comes to an executive producer. I feel like these are very different duties. These are different schools of production, I guess. Anyway, the other one that a lot of people have heard of is that they're going to adapt Warhammer 40K, but we know so little about this. Aside from the fact that Henry Cavill always wanted to do it, and assuming it gets made, he is going to star in it and be an executive producer for, which I assume in this case will mean like he's going to try to sway people's hand when it comes to being like lore accurate, and he will probably cough up some money for it. Right? Oftentimes what I hear is that executive producer can mean so many different things, including simply bankrolling the project. So whenever you see someone being an executive producer, I often just think the least of them, and I'm just like, okay, they just gave money to the project. They funded it, right? This is an investment for them. But you get Warhammer 40K. It already showed up in Secret Level or whatever it was, that anthology series I talked about, right? Warhammer did. 40K specifically. I think the most terrifying and damning of them all, though, is, was it a week or 2 weeks ago? It was in the middle of December, I believe it was. And I was super busy with the holidays and stuff, and that's only just starting to like chill out, and we're starting to get in a period where like I'm not super like up against the wall, as it were, or up against the clock when it comes to the holidays. But there is going to be another Fallout show. I don't know if you heard about this, but there is going to be another Fallout show, and it is not going to be what you're expecting if you're unfamiliar with this fact. It is slated to be a game show. There is going to be a Fallout TV show that is more set up to be like a game show, which I think, to me, if the merchandising situation wasn't obvious enough, I feel like this is the smoking gun, as it were, that Amazon has recognized the amount of potential money there is here, and they want more of it. I don't know about there being a Fallout game show. I don't like the idea of that. Even if I end up loving every damn season, every episode of the Fallout TV show normal, the Fallout game show, I think I am poised to really not like. Right? This is not what I want. I don't know who asked for this. I guess corporate asked for this because they see dollar signs filled their irises. Their eyeballs have turned into dollar signs, and they're ready for money. I believe the gist of it, of this Fallout game show, is that it is going to be based around Fallout Shelter, which is really wild. They're just going to do Beast games, I guess. I guess they're just going to do Jimmy Donaldson's Beast games or whatever for Fallout. They're going to put a whole bunch of people, or maybe Big Brother, right? Is this going to be like Big Brother? They're going to lock a bunch of people in like a faux vault. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's going to be absolutely horrible. But I think a lot of reality TV in this sense is absolutely horrible. And I think a lot of people who enjoy this type of reality TV acknowledge that this is actually really horrible, but you just can't help it. It's like eating a candy bar or whatever, eating a chocolate bar. It's bad for you, but it's, every now and again, sometimes it's fun to be a little bad and eat a chocolate bar or whatever, right? It's fun to fuck it. Sometimes you feel like a nut, right? Sometimes you want to break me off a piece of that, you know? And maybe that's the best way to approach the Fallout Shelter spin-off television show. But I wonder if the gravy train continues, is there going to be a third one? Is there going to be another one? Like, once this show reaches its conclusion, do you think once it's done with its run, are they going to try and make another show that's like a spin-off of this one more specifically, to where it's like, well, you're missing out on your light drama, some action Fallout TV series where it's serialized, there's new things happening every week, the thing goes forward, the progress of the storyline goes forward every week, we get to see new sights and sounds, our characters have development over a period of time. They'll have some sort of replacement for it, you know? They'll have their Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. They'll have their Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Oh, their Knight of the 12 territories or states of the United States of America within the world of Fallout. It'll be a Brotherhood of Steel focused story because they're a knight, of course. I feel like we're poised for that. I think it could be really bad. I think we could be, we don't realize how good we have it right now, where, yeah, people have some qualms with the Fallout TV show here and there. A lot of those people, maybe they're too fucking weird. Maybe those people are a little too invested in the lore of a fictional world. Sometimes I think about that because, I don't know, I consider myself to be very invested in the lore of fictional worlds. And yet, I don't know, a lot of the times when these things go down and, like, you know, we break canon, we bend canon, I don't mind so much. You know, say la vie, right? Take it, leave it, just as long as we're having a good time, right? What happens when the good times stop? Right? What happens when the good times stop? I worry about it. I have my concerns about it. I think it's going to be awful. The Fallout Shelter one. Who knows? Maybe it'll be so stupid it's amazing. Maybe I'm willing to, should I commit right here in the same way that we have done a Let's Watch for the Fallout television show Normal? Maybe if this thing ever sees the light of day, I'm going to watch them and we're going to talk about them here on this channel. And I'm with the expectation that I'm going to hate it, that I'm not going to like it. I'll just say up front, I don't really care for much reality TV. When it comes to horrible things that I like to enjoy, when it comes to media that is usually like subpar, most of that is within the realm of video games. I love to play and enjoy and find the fun in subpar video games. I have little patience for doing that for television, especially reality television, but television as a whole, because it's a bit more of an investment. Maybe a movie, right? At most, you're talking 3-4 hours. I don't mind maybe doing that, especially if I'm in good company and we can laugh about the stupidity of something, right? I don't mind that so much. But I don't know. All this is to say, brace yourselves. All this is to say, I think this could get bad. I think we're poised for it. I think it's going to become such an institution that there's going to be, well, I mean, some would say we've already been here, where there's going to be good Fallout and there's going to be bad Fallout, right? So maybe, you know what? Maybe Fallout is no stranger to this whatsoever, right? According to certain divisions within the fan base and all of that. It's going to be a very interesting time going forward for all of this. It's got to be said. It's very funny that this is the IP of all IP that they have decided to, at least first, cash out on, right? It's so weird to see all the merchandising and stuff when this is kind of in part, a lesson of the games, at least the newer ones. This kind of rampant consumerism. Certainly, it's a topic in the TV show, and yet also, you know, you take it with a grain of salt that, yeah, Amazon doesn't mind you taking a dump on and lampshading the misery that comes with rampant consumerism But also, they don't mind you doing that so long as you let them engage in it as well. So long as you let them engage in doing a little rampant consumerism themselves. It's fucking wild. There's a certain Disco Elysium quote. We talked about it earlier. There's a certain Disco Elysium quote that is very fitting for all of this, huh? Anyway, I think that ought to do it for this week. I guess all of this is to say, yeah, I'll do a Let's Watch for the shitty Fallout Shelter game show. I'll do it. I'm worried about it. I don't think it'll be good. I'm still looking forward to new episodes of the regular Fallout show. Like I said, I think they're a good fun time. I'm still looking forward to future Fallout stuff as far as video games are concerned. I enjoy them. I think they're a fun, good time. I like them a lot. But I am expecting that there'll be a lot of really bad, like, cash grabby stuff, right? Some people say that Fallout 76 was a cash grab. You're about to have no idea. You thought that was a cash grab? You don't know what's just around the corner, right? If this TV show keeps being a hit, in particular, not just if the TV show keeps being a hit, if the merchandising keeps selling like hotcakes, right? Tell me, did they not open up a theme park, an amusement park section in like Universal or something that was themed around Fallout? Did that not happen? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that was real. And maybe it still exists if you go there today. And once again, I'm victim to this as well. I have no ground to stand on. I would love to go to Universal Studios, Fallout Super Excursion Extravaganza, and do all that shit. I would love to. That sounds fun. I'd probably be like, oh my gosh, that's the T-51B, winterized. I would probably love it like an idiot. Like the idiot I am. But there's no mistaking. We're going down the gravy train, baby. If you think that things were bad before, right? Get ready for a whole new world of merchandising opportunities and cashing in places where you didn't even think it was possible, right? I want to know, how much money have they made off of the TV show and like increases in Prime subs and stuff? Versus how much extra Amazon has raked in from merchandising, right? So think of the Star Wars situation, right? Where in Star Wars, for a long time, people would talk about how Star Wars, famously, the movies made significantly less money than merchandising. I don't think they'll hit that critical mass. But I don't think they mind. I think if they get a little piece of that pie, that's enough for them, right? And by that, of course, I mean Amazon corporate, Microsoft corporate, the parent companies, right? To reiterate, I have no ill will toward even the people who would want to make and star in the show Fallout Shelter or whatever it's going to be called, the adaptation of that. You're just doing your thing, you know? I think they'll try and make it as best as they can. Probably. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there'll be human rights violations. I mentioned Beast Games before. Maybe there'll be some sort of violation of human rights in some way, endangering people. Maybe they'll do that. In which case, I take it back. Fuck them. Right? But for the time being, I don't hold any ill will toward those folks. For the time being. All right. Until next time. Please take care of each other.